Here on New Mexico in Focus, we talk a lot about education. Everyone wants our state's education system to be better, certainly, but what does that really mean? Last year, we teamed up with KUNM and Generation Justice to ask students in Albuquerque about their experiences in school. You can find the full report on our website, newmexicoinfocus.org. And we recently brought in students from Working Classroom, a local organization that provides training to young artists, actors, and media makers, into our studio to talk about journalism and the education system. They started with this question: what would make your experience in school better? Here's a sample of those conversations.
What would make my experience at school better would probably just have more, focus more on the individual student and what that individual student wants. And just see what interests that student has, what that student is excelling at, what that student needs a little bit more help in, and not go with a linear system.
I feel that a change in food, content, and community involvement in school would be the best options because our society is very monoculture. We want to grow a certain amount in a certain amount of time to be able to make a certain amount of money. We want to be able to bulk manufacture and just cookie cut everything so that we can make dough. Overall, the content in schools, I feel it's lacking in real world applications, not so much as in actually using the information, but the way they teach it to only be used for money and not to just simply do the processes to ensure survival.
Can you elaborate more what are the classes that we need for survival in a way?
I feel that if as children, if we learned how to cultivate our food and not monoculture, say a field of corn, only that. Have you heard of the Tres Hermanas? It's basically corn, beans, and squash, and that's a Aztec Mayan legend. And it's actually science, almost quantum level, because the legumes throw nitrogen from the atmosphere back into the soil so that the corn can use it, and then the squash provide shade once the leaves get bigger so that nothing burns or overheats. So it just it's adding the diversity without sacrificing pretty much anything. It makes the whole of the crop better just because they were planted together. They're their rhizospheres, the microbiology, are all interacting to promote positivity.
So they both help each other, yeah?
Yeah, say love thy neighbor. They would both be promoting each other's growth. How would you go about individualism?
I guess it all just starts with knowing the students. And I know that's hard to begin with because teachers have over 100 students. That's even a low number for a high school. But I guess it's just getting to know the students more, and it just comes down to getting to know what your class, what one class is like. And after knowing what that one class is like, just know how each student is and just see how you can help them as much as you can as the teacher of the class, as just an adult who is supposed to lead you in the right way. Just that most students complain and say, yeah, that teacher doesn't really do anything to help me, and I don't know, it's a different case for everybody, but I guess it all just comes down to first just getting to know the student.
I definitely think that's an awesome point because individualism, you can apply it internally and also to a group, because they can be oh, this individual works really well with the group because of these particular traits, or even you could have that student that really doesn't know what to do, really doesn't know what they want to do, and they're just kind of doing all their work, still getting good grades or whatever, just continuing on with the program. But how would we try to engage them even more so than, engage them into an activity more so than their insecurities?
To engage them into an activity is just that, engage them into an activity. Tell the student, hey, So there's this new thing. I just want, like, this new thing that you haven't tried, I want you to have a go at it. If you like it, if you don't, that's all right. We'll just see how it goes. And depending on what that goes off of, or depending on what happens there, that's when you know what's the next path to take. So it's just giving kids opportunities from a much younger age to know what it is that they want to do.
That's nice. That reminds me of my old middle school started doing a new thing. They would put their freshmen into 4 different classes for their first year. It's like elective, like music, art, orchestra, or band, and they would have a quarter to figure out like if they like it or not, and then like by their 7th grade year they could pick whatever they wanted, whatever stuck out to them.
What middle school did you go to?
Jefferson Middle School.
Jefferson. Yeah. See, like all schools have like, oh yeah, that one music program. Oh yeah, that one art class. But that's interesting. I really like that where 1 quarter is this, 1 quarter is that. And even though like a quarter is a short time, it's still enough time to know whether you like something or not.
So my name is Angel Anaya, and I am 17 years old. I go to Atrisco Heritage Academy High School, and something that would make my education experience better is having a more individualized, more personal education where I have the choice to create my own classes based on my needs.
My name is Alonso Estrada. I am a senior at Atrisco Heritage Academy, and what would make my high school or education experience better would be better food system. I know myself, I have to eat or else I get like migraines or serious headaches. So therefore I would love it if the APS system or just the education system itself would give me or would give the whole school better lunch system. Therefore we would get, you know, that good quality food, not that just that warm up microwave type of food.
My name is Jacob Olagier, and I'm going to Albuquerque High School. And something that would make my school experience a little bit better is, in high school, putting like more culture into the curriculum and studying more things like pop culture, and then studying why that like trends caught on, and studying why like it's so influential and people were infatuated with these ideas,
Yeah.
Cool. What would it be about culture that you would like to add on? Like, what is specifically?
Dang, I don't know. So like, we always hear about there's different types of cultures, right? So first we got to define what like culture is. Mm-hmm. But for example, like the rap culture, like I've been watching documentaries on Netflix, like the Rapture documentaries, and there's a culture within like music and hip hop and rap, and it's like, a lot of old people once said like, oh, it's just a little trend, like it'll die off in a couple years, but now it's like the #1 genre, and it's like, with pop culture, it's like a lot of these trends can end up becoming like long-term things. So it's like, why don't we like integrate those studies into like curriculum? I don't know.
Myself, I'm a graffiti artist, and a lot of people don't accept graffiti as a form of art, just because it's often in ditches or like walls or in private property, and like it's done illegally. Therefore, people see it like as something that's not acceptable. And I myself, I believe that art is just something that you do and that you find appealing, and it doesn't matter if it's on the street or if it's in a canvas, if it's in a frame or if it's in a museum. Whatever you do is where you find art. So that's what I would add to you, like just that art culture. So like people would be like informed about it, and not just go to art class and be like, oh, these are lines, shapes, and forms, and lighting. Like it's not just the basics. It's about like what it is to us and what it means to us.
Also going on that, both music and art, as you say, are both, they're more creative, more visual. And that basically, all in all, music is art, basically.
Yeah, true.
So what I think would help us all is more, because the United States as a whole, individualized, it is poor quality in mathematics, language, sciences, but what do we excel at? It's basically we excel at movies, music, so why can't we create a class or basically something that helps us build on what we already naturally have. That is great.
Exactly. Like, I feel like the problem in schools in general is that there is a curriculum, and that teachers often when they start being teachers, I feel like they're being told to like follow that and to like follow it like directly. Like they can't go like offline a little bit because then they get all worried and think like something bad's gonna happen.
Right.
Like they're always teachers are always like worrying about the bad things that could happen instead of like actually like trying to like show us like the value of what they're teaching us.
Like we said, schools are basically designed to make us follow and not create our own paths. Like the only time where we're actually encouraged to create our own paths is past the level of high school into college, going into where we could pick our own individual classes and create that personalized education that we so dearly need before.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also a big thing about school is that most students, they feel like they go to school just to go to school. Like
They don't know like the deeper meaning of it. Like, what does this all really mean? Like, I mean, like, it's like going back to like that concept of like, you know, like marketing. Like, you know, like if you want to sell something to someone, you make them realize like why they need it, and like you make them realize like why is it important. And then so like if we just take that concept of like basically you put value onto something, or you make something important, and then someone can buy your product. It's like if you make like, I don't know, kids realize that like your education is important, then they'll buy into this whole idea that, well, I need to start like, you know, actually learning and applying myself in these schools to like build a better future.
in every school we hear that, you know, high school is preparing us for college, but I feel like throughout 6th grade to 12th grade, it all stays the same. You go to a class, you sit down, you take notes, you take tests, and then that's it. Like, I feel like there's like no real preparation of like what you want to do in college, because it's different in college. Mm-hmm. What you want to do in college is you want to take classes that belong to you and that what you want to do as your profession. And in high school, you just get taught the same things, but like higher level as you go.
Most people actually do change, like for example, majors or minors, basically what they're studying in college. So if we're able to expose that type of choice beforehand, we could eliminate so much. Like, oh, I studied 2 years to be a nurse, but I just found out that that's not what I wanted. I'm going to change majors, like that's money wasted. So if we could probably like expose a choice early on, we could save so much more money for our education and put it to what we actually do want to get.
Exactly. And going off of what you said, if we were to expose it beforehand, and if we were to give more opportunities to like the child to like work hands-on instead of like learning, I think that would like help us like, or you know, help our education be like less expensive. You feel me? Like, if you want to be a nurse, you don't just like learn about being a nurse. You actually want to try being a nurse, and you actually you actually want to hold the tools that a nurse uses. You actually want to see the environment. You actually want to see your workspace. I feel like if we would, you know, expose that beforehand, like during high school, and like if there was more like more fairs about what you want to do, like job fairs, I feel like that would like help like the students like better on be like more like damn, this is what I want to do, and this is just like what I want to do. Because now like most kids are like, oh, they get asked, what do you want to do like when you go to college, and they're like, well, I don't know, because you know, I just come here and I sit all day like and I just learned the basics, but I don't know what I want to do because I haven't been exposed to different opportunities that like help me make my decision.
I don't know if this can be done, but like, you know, just make like a big list. There's just like, I don't know, like every possible job ever. Cause like, honestly, I feel like there's so much jobs out there that I don't even know about, dude. And it's like, maybe like something like a job fair at my high school. Like not like to hire kids. Like, you know how they have those job fairs cause it's like that helps you find employment. But how about like a job fair that actually shows you like, there's different careers other than being a nurse. Like, like some people go into like being like, they go into school because they want to be a nurse, because they want to work in a hospital, but it's like that's not the end all be all. Like there's so many other titles in a hospital, like, you know, something may be more fitting than just a nurse.
I really also think that the environment which within the school is in, that like also like helps like build the school. Like take example, I know like it may be wrong, but take example La Cueva High School. Like notice how that's in the hills and there's less crime going on over there. Therefore like there's kids are like you know, like saying out of like violent things or illegal things.
They got less to worry about. 'Cause
Yeah,
the
less to worry
parents,
about.
bro.
But when you go back to like for example Rio Grande, and you see all the things that are going around that neighborhood, and you see how that neighborhood lives in poverty, and just how that neighborhood is like formed, it's just like it makes the school look bad, and therefore. When it makes the school bad, the teachers give up, and they don't want to like actually like try to like make the school look better. Therefore, they give up on the students, and the students give up, and therefore end up dropping out.
I guess that's what I was trying to say. Is like this, like, you know, the school lunches thing, and like us becoming like high schools become more like college just kind of serves as motivation, because like as we like learn to excel like at a certain profession, it's just kind of like makes us more comfortable to actually like continue and stay motivated. And like this thing, like having better lunches, is like something like less for like low income like places to worry about. Like we do worry about these things, dude. So it's like, you want to build like a school system and expect us to succeed while still paying our bills, while like, you know, like trying to help our families pay for like, you know, bills. It's like, you got to help us out somewhere, like, so we can stay motivated and we can actually contribute to society.
It all comes down to what's next. What can we do in order to improve on these things? Like, I know it's all just big talk, but
It's just big talk. It's like, what are we going to do after we get out of this studio? Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like,
yeah, it's like, well, you gotta ask the source. It's like, what can we do to help you help us?
yeah.